Nora, now responsible for many household chores, was often scolded for the smallest mistakes. Nkechi's tone grew colder, and the warmth that Nora once felt began to fade. One afternoon, as Nora struggled to carry a heavy basket of yams, Nkechi snapped at her, "Hurry up, you are so slow. Why can't you be more like Amanda?" Ikena and Adobe were deeply in love. They had a beautiful wedding in their village, surrounded by friends and family. The village of Umudim burst with excitement on their wedding day. The sun shone brightly, casting a golden hue on the festivities. Traditional music filled the air, and the aroma of delicious local dishes wafted through the crowd. Adobe looked stunning in her traditional attire, her smile radiating pure joy. Ikena couldn't take his eyes off her as they exchanged vows. Their love was evident to all who watched. They danced, laughed, and celebrated their union late into the night, surrounded by the warmth and support of their loved ones. Their happiness grew, and when Adobe became pregnant a few months after their wedding, Ikena was overjoyed. He would place his hand on Adobe's belly, talking to their unborn child. "I can't wait to meet you, little one," he would whisper, his voice filled with anticipation. Adobe glowed in her pregnancy. The ecstasy of motherhood made her more happy. She and Ikena spent hours planning for the baby's arrival. They decorated a small room in their modest home, painting the walls with cheerful colors and filling it with handmade toys and tiny clothes. The night Adobe went into labor, a severe storm raged outside. The midwife Nneka did her best, but complications arose. Adobe was in immense pain, and despite their prayers and efforts, she lost too much blood. As dawn broke, Adobe's cries ceased, replaced by the wails of a newborn baby girl. Ikena held Adobe's lifeless hand, tears streaming down his face. He was heartbroken, but he also felt a strange mixture of sorrow and joy. In his arms lay their daughter, Nora, who everyone called Nora. The days that followed were filled with a deep sense of loss. Ikena was shattered, struggling to cope with the void Adobe's death left in her heart. He often found himself staring at the crib, wishing Adobe were there to share the joy and challenges of parenthood. Yet, when he looked at Nora's innocent face, he found a reason to keep going. Ikena poured his love into raising Nora. He was determined to give her the best life possible, despite his grief. He learned how to change diapers, feed her, and soothe her cries. Neighbors and friends often marveled at how tenderly he cared for Nora. "You are doing a wonderful job, Ikena," they would say. In the evenings, after putting Nora to bed, Ikena would sit by the window, gazing at the stars. He would talk to Adobe, sharing the day's events and his dreams for their daughter. "I promise, Adobe, I promise to take good care of her, my love," he would whisper into the night. Despite the heartaches, he found strength in his love for his daughter. She became his beacon of hope, a living reminder of the love he and Adobe shared. He was determined to honor Adobe's memory by raising Nora with all the love and care he could muster, even in the face of his own overwhelming grief. 2 years after the death of Adobe, Ikena met Nkechi. Their meeting was unexpected but life-changing. Ikena was in the market buying vegetables when he saw Nkechi. She was helping an elderly woman carry a heavy basket. Her kindness caught his attention. She had a warm smile and a gentle manner that immediately made an impression on him. Ikena struck up a conversation with Nkechi, and they discovered they had many common interests. They both loved the quiet life of the village, the sound of children playing, and the peace that came from being surrounded by nature. Over time, their friendship deepened and they began to spend more time together. "Nkechi, you have a very kind heart," Ikena would say. "I feel at peace when I am with you." Nkechi blushed, her smile widening. Thank you, Ikena. I feel the same way about you. It wasn't long before Ikena realized he had fallen in love again. He felt guilty at first, thinking he was betraying Adobe's memory. But he also knew that life had to go on. He wanted Nora to have another mother, at least a mother figure in her life, someone who would love and care for her. Ikena proposed to Nkechi on a quiet evening by the riverside. The sun was setting, casting a beautiful glow over the water. Nkechi, will you marry me? He asked, holding her hands. Nkechi's eyes filled with tears of joy. Yes, Ikena, I would marry you. Their wedding was a simple affair held in the same village where Ikena and Adobe had married. Their friends and family gathered once more to celebrate the new beginning. Nkechi wore a modest and beautiful dress, and Ikena couldn't help but feel grateful for the second chance at happiness. Nkechi took care of Nora, treating her like her own child. She would sing lullabies to her at night and made sure she had everything she needed. Nora, still too young to remember her birth mother, quickly grew attached to Nkechi. Shortly after their marriage, Nkechi gave birth to a beautiful baby girl whom they named Amanda. The birth of Amanda brought even more joy to their home. Nora was thrilled to have a baby sister, and she loved helping Nkechi with the baby. I love you, Amanda, Nora would whisper to her baby sister, kissing her forehead. Their family seemed happy and complete. Ikena often found himself smiling as he watched Nkechi and the girls playing together. His heart felt lighter than it had in years. He was grateful for Nkechi's presence and the love she brought to their lives. But life is never without its challenges. As Amanda grew, Ikena noticed subtle changes in Nkechi's behavior. At first, they were small things. A stern look, a harsh word directed at Nora. He brushed it off, thinking it was just the stress of raising two young children. One evening, Ikena sat with Nkechi after putting the girls to bed. Is everything alright, Nkechi? You seem different lately. Nkechi sighed. It's nothing, Ikena. I'm just tired, that's all. Ikena wanted to believe her, but a nagging feeling in his heart told him something was off. Despite these worries, he remained hopeful, trusting that their love and the family they were building together would see them through any hardships. The family continued to navigate their new life, with Ikena holding on to the hope that their happiness would remain intact. 7 years later, life took another unexpected turn. Ikena suddenly fell ill. What began as a mild cough quickly worsened. Despite the visits to the local clinic and traditional healers, Ikena's health continued to decline. Nkechi was beside him with worry, doing everything she could to care for him, but nothing seemed to help. One night, as Ikena lay in bed, he called for Nkechi. Nkechi, I need to talk to you, he said weakly. She sat by his side, holding his hands. Promise me you will take care of Nora and Amanda. Nkechi nodded, tears streaming down her face. I promise, Ikena, I will take care of them as my own. Days turned into a few more weeks, and Ikena's condition only worsened. The whole village prayed for his recovery, but it seemed that fate had other plans. One quiet evening, with Nkechi, Nora and Amanda by his side, Ikena took his very last breath. Nkechi was devastated. The village mourned the loss of a good man, and a large crowd attended Ikena's funeral. Nora, now 9 years old, clung to Nkechi, not fully understanding the permanence of death, but sensing the gravity of their loss. Amanda, just a toddler, was too young to comprehend what had happened. In the days following Ikena's death, Nkechi discovered that he had left everything to her. This included their modest home, a small plot of farmland, and a few savings. Ikena had trusted Nkechi completely, believing she would take care of the family in his absence. At first, Nkechi rose to the challenge. She managed the household and continued to earn respect in the community. Her resilience and strength were admired by many. "Nkechi, you're a strong woman," the villagers would say. Ikena would be proud. Nkechi threw herself into work, determined to maintain the life Ikena had built for them. She took over the farming, selling produce in the market, and ensuring the children were well cared for. Life slowly found a new rhythm, but something within Nkechi began to change. Over time, subtle differences in her behavior became more pronounced. She started to treat Nora differently. The once loving and caring mother became harsh and demanding. Nora, now responsible for many household chores, was often scolded for the smallest mistakes. Nkechi's tone grew colder, and the warmth that Nora once felt began to fade. One afternoon, as Nora struggled to carry a heavy basket of yams, Nkechi snapped at her, "Hurry up, you are so slow. Why can't you be more like Amanda?" Nora's heart sank. She couldn't understand why Nkechi had become so cruel. She missed the gentle woman who had once sung her lullabies and comforted her fears. Meanwhile, Amanda received all the affection and attention. Nkechi pampered her younger daughter, ensuring she had the best clothes and toys. Amanda, unaware of the growing rift, basked in the love and care that she received. The disparity in treatment did not go unnoticed by villagers. Some whispered among themselves, speculating about Nkechi's change in behavior. What happened to her? They wondered. Why is she so harsh, especially with Nora? Nkechi's treatment of Nora only worsened, and the young girl often found herself questioning why her mother seemed to hate her that much. Even as Nora grew into an adult, she was more confused and hurt by the change. She couldn't understand why the woman she considered her own mother would treat her so bad. Every day brought new tasks and harsh words. "Nora, sweep the compound," Nkechi would order, "and make sure you fetch water before dawn." Despite her efforts to please Nkechi, nothing Nora did seemed to be enough. The chores piled up, and Nkechi's demands grew more unreasonable. Nora would wake up early and go to bed late, exhausted from the constant work. She was given the heaviest chores, while Amanda played freely or received special treats from Nkechi. One evening, as Nora was scrubbing the kitchen floor, Amanda walked in with a new doll Nkechi had bought for her. "Look, Mama got me this doll, isn't she pretty?" Amanda said, her eyes shining with excitement. Nora forced a smile. "Yes, she is. I'm happy for you." The unfair treatment continued for years, and Nora often wondered why Nkechi hated her so much. Her questions were met with silence or more harshness. "Why does she hate me?" Nora would whisper to herself at night, tears streaming down her face. Nora's friend noticed the change and tried to comfort her. "Nora, you don't deserve this," her friend Chika said one afternoon. "You are strong. Don't let her break you." "I don't know what I did wrong, Chika," Nora replied, her voice filled with sorrow. "I tried my best, but it's never enough for her." The ill treatment intensified as Nora grew older. Nkechi made it clear that she wanted Amanda to have the best opportunities. She blocked and stopped all the rich suitors from marrying Nora, always finding a way to turn them away. One day, a wealthy young man named Emeka came to ask for Nora's hand in marriage. He was polite and well-mannered, with a bright future ahead of him. Nora felt a glimmer of hope as Emeka spoke to Nkechi. "Ma, I would like to marry Nora," Emeka said respectfully. "I promise to take care of her and provide her with everything that she needs." Nkechi's face hardened. "Nora is not yet ready for marriage," she said coldly. "She has many responsibilities here. Amanda is the one who needs a good match." Emeka was taken aback but nodded politely. "I understand, ma. Thank you for your time." Nora's heart sank as she watched Emeka leave. She knew she would never be allowed to marry someone who could take her away from Nkechi's control. Meanwhile, Nkechi focused on finding a wealthy suitor for Amanda. She was determined to ensure that Amanda had a comfortable and prosperous life. The years continued to pass, and Nora's life remained a circle of hard work and unfulfilled dreams. She saw Amanda's life flourish while her own dreams were crushed. Despite the hardships, Nora held on to the hope that one day things might change. She took solace in the small acts of kindness from her friends and the villagers who saw her struggles. Nkechi's determination to secure a worthy suitor for Amanda seemed successful when a man named Chukwudi arrived in the village. He was well dressed and charismatic, boasting of his riches and grand lifestyle in the city. Nkechi was immediately taken by him and believed he would be perfect match for Amanda. "Chukwudi, you have everything I want for my daughter," Nkechi said, smiling warmly at him. "Amanda deserves the best." Chukwudi grinned. "She will have everything she desires, Mama, I promise you." Nkechi quickly arranged the marriage, and within a few months, Amanda and Chukwudi were wed in a lavish ceremony. The village buzzed with excitement and many envied Amanda's good fortune. Nora watched the festivities from a distance, her heart heavy with mixed emotions. Shortly after the wedding, Amanda moved to the city with Chukwudi. At first, she sent messages to her mother, telling stories of her glamorous life. "Mama, the city is everything I dreamed of," Amanda wrote. "Chukwudi takes me to best places and I have everything I want." Nkechi beamed with pride, showing the letters to the villagers. "See how well Amanda is doing," she would say. "I made the right choice." However, the letters soon changed. Amanda began to hint at troubles in her marriage. "Mama, things are not as perfect as they seemed," she wrote in one letter. "Chukwudi is not the man I thought he was." It wasn't long before the truth came out. Chukwudi had been living a lie. He wasn't wealthy, but had borrowed money and cars to keep up appearances. His debts caught up with him, and he began to treat Amanda poorly. The once loving husband turned into a cruel and abusive man. Amanda returned to the village, her spirit broken. She revealed that Chukwudi had been unfaithful and had left her with nothing. "Mama, I am pregnant," Amanda cried. "Chukwudi abandoned me." Nkechi was devastated. She couldn't believe that she had been deceived and that her daughter had to suffer the consequences. The villagers, who had once admired Amanda's good fortune, now whispered about her misfortune. Meanwhile, Nkechi's treatment of Nora worsened. She blamed her for everything, using her as an outlet for her frustration and disappointment. Nora continued to bear the brunt of Nkechi's anger, working tirelessly to keep the household running. One day, a very poor farmer named Ifeanyi came to the village. He was looking for a wife and expressed interest in Nora. Nkechi saw this as an opportunity to rid herself of Nora and quickly arranged the marriage. "Nora, you will marry Ifeanyi," Nkechi announced. "He may be poor, but he will take care of you. You don't even need a rich man after all." Nora was hesitant, but agreed, knowing she had no choice. The wedding was simple, a stark contrast to Amanda's lavish ceremony. Ifeanyi took Nora to the city, where she discovered that he was not as poor as he claimed. He owned a successful business and lived in a comfortable home. "Nora, I wanted someone who would love me for who I am, not for my money," Ifeanyi explained, "and I see that kindness in you." Nora was overjoyed. She quickly adapted to her new life, and within a year, she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Her life, which had been filled with hardship and sorrow, began to blossom with happiness and fulfillment. Back in the village, Amanda struggled to rebuild her life. She gave birth to her child and tried to make ends meet. She moved in with Nkechi, who was now consumed with guilt and regret. One day, news reached Nora that Nkechi was seriously ill. At first, she refused to go back to the village. "Why should I bother seeing someone who despised me so much?" she said to Ifeanyi. "Please, my love," Ifeanyi urged. "It is important to face the past and find closure." And after much persuasion, Nora agreed to return to the village. When she arrived, she found Nkechi bedridden and Amanda struggling to care for her two children from different fathers. The sight filled her with a mixture of pity and resentment. Nkechi, frail and remorseful, reached out to Nora. "Nora, I am sorry for everything," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I was wrong and you deserve better." The village elders also gathered, pleading with Nora to forgive her. "Nora's forgiveness is going to be your path to healing," one elder said. Nora looked at Nkechi and Amanda, her heart heavy with the weight of the shared past. "I'm sorry, I can't stay here. I need to leave." Nora just helped Nkechi pay her hospital bills and opened a small store for Amanda to support her children. Then she turned to the city, determined to focus on her own family and happiness, while extending a little hand of support from afar. Nora's return to the city marked a new chapter in her life. The visit to the village had left her with a mixed emotions, but it also gave her a sense of closure. Back home, she poured her energy into her family and their future. Ifeanyi, her loving husband, supported her every step of the way. Her life with Ifeanyi was filled with love and stability, and their son, Chidera, was growing up in a happy home. Despite the scars from her past, Nora was determined to build a future filled with hope and love. In the village, Amanda struggled to run the store Nora had set up for her. She was grateful for her sister's help, but found it challenging to juggle the responsibilities of motherhood, business, and taking care of her ill mother. Her two children, who had different fathers, were a constant reminder of her tumultuous past. Meanwhile, Nkechi's health continued to decline. The illness that had taken hold of her body showed no signs of relenting. She was bedridden, most days relying on Amanda for care. The once proud and formidable woman was now frail and dependent. Back in the city, Nora and Ifeanyi's life flourished. Ifeanyi's business continued to grow, and Nora found joy in managing their home and raising their son. They decided to have another child, and soon Nora was pregnant again. The news brought immense happiness to their household. "Nora, my love," Ifeanyi said, placing a hand on her growing belly. "I can't wait to meet our new baby." Nora smiled, feeling the baby kick. "Me too, Ifeanyi." As Nora's pregnancy progressed, she continued to send money and supplies to Amanda and Nkechi, despite her decision to keep her distance. She couldn't completely turn her back on them. The past had shaped her, but it wouldn't define her future. In the months that followed, Nora gave birth to a healthy baby girl whom they named Adanna. The arrival of their daughter brought even more joy and completeness to their family. Ifeanyi and Nora reveled in the happiness of their growing family. "Nora, look at our beautiful daughter," Ifeanyi said, cradling Adanna in his arms. "We are so blessed." He kissed her on the forehead and hugged her tightly. Nora's life in the city continued to thrive, and Ifeanyi's business kept on flourishing. Little Chidera and Amanda brought endless joy to their home, yet Nora couldn't shake the feeling that something was still unresolved. Despite her efforts to move on, the past continued to linger in her thoughts. One day, Nora got a text from Amanda. This time, it carried an urgent tone. "Nora, Mama's health has deteriorated rapidly. The doctor said she doesn't have much time left. She keeps asking for you. Please come if you can." Nora read the messages several times, her heart heavy with the weight of its content. She knew she had to go back, not just for Nkechi, but for herself too. She needed closure and perhaps a final chance to understand everything that had happened. "Ifeanyi, I need to go back to the village," Nora said, showing him the message. Ifeanyi nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I will come to you, my love. We will go together as a family." They made arrangements and traveled back to the village. As they approached Nkechi's home, memories of their childhood and harsh years resurfaced. Nora took a deep breath, determined to face whatever awaited her. Amanda greeted them at the door, her face lined with worry and fatigue. "Nora, thank you so much for coming. Mama is inside. She has been asking of you." Nora entered the dimly lit room, where Nkechi lay on a small bed, looking frail and tired. Her eyes lit up when she saw Nora, Nora, you have come, she whispered, reaching out a trembling hand. Nora took her hand, feeling a mix of emotions. Yes, Mama, I am here. Nkechi's eyes filled with tears. Nora, I have so much to say. I was wrong. I should have treated you better. You deserved love and kindness, not the pain I caused you. Yet you still have been so kind to me. Nora felt a lump in her throat. Why, Mama? Why did you treat me that way? What did I ever do to you? Nkechi sighed deeply, gathering her thoughts. There is something you need to know, Nora. I am not your biological mother. Nora froze, the revelation hitting her like a storm. What do you mean? If you're not my mother, who then is? Nkechi looked away, guilt etched on her face. Your real mother, Adobe, died giving birth to you. Ikena married me when you were still a baby. I was consumed with jealousy and bitterness because he loved you so much more than I thought he loved me. I took out my frustrations on you because you reminded me of her. You excelled in school more than Amanda, and I got jealous again, not wanting you to outshine her. Nora felt her heart break. The woman she had called Mama all her life wasn't her mother. But why didn't you just tell me this before? She asked, tears streaming down her face. Nkechi sighed. I was afraid. Afraid you would hate me even more. But now, I need you to know the truth. I am sorry for everything, Nora. I should have loved you as my own, but I failed. Nora listened, her heart aching for the mother she had lost and the stepmother who had failed her. Mama, I forgive you. I just needed to understand. Nkechi nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, Nora. I hope you can find peace. Amanda stood by the door, her own eyes filled with tears. Nora, you've always been stronger than me. You've endured so much. Nora embraced her sister. We both did what we had to do to survive. It's time we moved forward. In the following days, Nora and Ifeanyi stayed in the village, helping Amanda take care of Nkechi. They talked about their childhood, shared memories and began to heal the wounds of the past. Nkechi, though weak, found some solace in their forgiveness. As Nkechi's condition worsened, Nora and Amanda took turns caring for her, ensuring she was comfortable. One quiet evening, with her daughters by her side, Nkechi took her last breath, leaving a legacy of pain and a chance for redemption. The villagers gathered to mourn her passing, acknowledging her strengths and weaknesses. After the final funeral, Nora and Ifeanyi prepared to return to the city. Amanda walked them to their car. Thank you, Nora, for everything you've done. I cannot repay you. Nora smiled, feeling a sense of closure. We will stay in touch, Amanda, and remember, we are here for you. As they journeyed back to the city, Nora felt lighter. The past had been painful, but it had also shaped her into the strong woman she had become. She was ready to embrace the future, carrying the lessons and love she found along the way. The return to the city marked a fresh start for Nora and her family. The revelations and reconciliations in the village had brought a sense of closure and understanding. She threw herself into her roles as a mother and a wife, with even more vigor. Chidera and Adanna were growing up quickly, and Nora wanted to ensure they had the best upbringing possible. Ifeanyi's business flourished, providing them with stability and comfort. Nora, the children are lucky to have you, Ifeanyi said one evening, watching as Nora helped Adanna with her homework. We are lucky to have each other, Nora replied, smiling at her husband. Our family is everything to me. And despite the challenges they faced, Nora and Ifeanyi's love remained strong. They supported each other through every trial and celebrated triumph together. Their home was filled with laughter and warmth and the promise of a bright future. Back in the village, Amanda managed to turn the small store into a thriving business. Her determination and resilience paid off, and she was able to provide a stable life for her children. The bond between Amanda and Nora grew stronger with each passing day. They shared history, forging a connection that distance couldn't break. Years passed, and Nora's children grew up in a loving and supporting environment. Chidera and Adanna excelled in school and brought endless delights to their household. One day, as Nora watched her children play, she reflected on the journey that had brought her here, the pain and the suffering of her childhood. The revelation about her true parentage and the ultimate forgiveness she had found had all shaped her into the woman she was. Nora felt a deep sense of contentment. She had faced many trials, but she also found immense joy. Her family was her greatest achievement, and the love they shared was the foundation of their happiness. In the end, Nora realized that life was about the journey and the lessons learned along the way. She had found peace, forgiveness, and love. The future was bright, and she was ready to embrace it with open arms, surrounded by the family she cherished above all else. The story of Nora teaches us that resilience and forgiveness are powerful tools. Despite hardships and mistreatment, Nora's strength helped her overcome challenges. She forgave those who wronged her, finding peace in her heart. The love and support of her family played a crucial role in her healing and happiness. The story reminds us that with resilience and forgiveness, we can overcome our past and build a bright future. Thanks for watching this captivating story on African stories and folktales. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories. Thank you.